Yeah, good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to this daily sit with Sangha Live. Thank you so much for all your warm messages inquiring about my health. For those of you who are joining only today, I'm Sophie Boyer, and I'm teaching meditation mostly in France and working more specifically in the field of healthcare, especially in oncology, where I teach meditation. It's really warming to come back to Sangha Life. And for those of you who were inquiring, I am feeling better. Not 100%, so things might go slow today, but which is actually quite supportive for what we're doing here. Just a reminder about these sessions that are offered freely or more specifically based on Dana. George very kindly put the link if you wish to donate, on top of the chat, and should be here till the end of this session. I see all the names. It's very, very, it's very warming to be back here. As it was mentioned in the theme for this week, I would like to introduce this beautiful statement from Zen Master Hakuin that hopefully will be supportive all along the week. And this is the first part of the statement, which is being on the road without leaving home. So I just put it on the chat for you. That's it. Okay. But, just having a sense of this sentence as we are starting this day together, and how it can support of our sit. What would it mean for us being on the road without leaving home? In this moment as we are, just settling in front of the screen. As we are settling on our cushion, maybe on our chair, or if we're lying down on the bed or the sofa. In this releasing movement of just sitting, lying down, or standing up. Can we just find a sense of ease? Having a sense that in this moment we have arrived. Arrived in this morning, arrived on the chair, arrived sitting with this kind community. all aiming to free ourselves from dukkha. It may take time, maybe because there is fatigue this morning, because of a short or not very good sleep, or maybe because there's tension or health issues and struggle with the body, or maybe struggle, with some worries, uh, concern that life presents to us. But just for a moment, just realizing in this moment, there is nothing to fix. There's nothing that needs to be solved. There is just this sitting, lying down, standing. This body in contact with the ground. Whether energized, whether tired. This is what life is right now. Feeling the ground beneath our feet, the weight of this body on the chair, the mat, the cushion. And even if we have done this 100 times, get in touch with the uniqueness of this moment, this seat. Unique. Nothing to do with the seat from yesterday morning. Really meeting this moment afresh, anew. Resting in what feels maybe the most appropriate for you this morning. Whether being with the gentle movement of the breath, or the arising and passing of sounds around you or within this body. Or maybe scanning all the physical sensation, the multitude of physical sensation. bringing back the whole being in this moment, connecting with the body through hearing, physicality, breathing. Offering to this body, this heart and mind, a pose, in the turmoil of this life. Just sitting, just standing, just lying down. And just breathing, hearing. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Nothing to achieve, nothing to perform. In this simple movement of releasing, of just allowing things to be as they are, noticing how slowly spaciousness is experienced. And noticing the love, the kindness that is present. Just in this absence of contraction, just being with the flow of the breath, the flow of sounds, physical sensations. And in this acceptation of the arising and falling away of all these phenomena. Breathe, the breath moving, sounds moving, physical sensations moving, emotions moving. Mental formations moving. But an unshakable presence to all of this. Just in this movement of releasing. Releasing. And experiencing the difference. When there is contraction, the attempt to change what's here, what life presents. And a sense of contraction that forms around that. And when there is just allowance, releasing, it is seeing thoughts arising and passing away, recognizing a certain mood, state of mind. You're just noticing the difference when there is a slight, sometimes very subtle attempt to gain something from this moment. And when there is not, when there is just breathing, just hearing, just physical sensations, noticing the difference. Just noticing when the story of a thought takes us away from the reality of sitting here and now together, pulling us away from the contact with the body, with the breath, with the sounds, noticing this movement of being pulled away. Cultivate over and over again this ability to come back to this moment. The reality of this moment. What is it that is experienced now? The reality of now. Allowing presence to become more and more spacious. A presence that is able to embrace what seems to be contradictory, paradoxical, dualistic. How in this unshakable presence this is experienced very differently. This unshakable presence. This unshakable presence that is called home. being on the road without leaving home. And at your own rhythm, your own pace, you're slowly opening the eyes, bringing a sense of presence in this moment of transition from immobility to movement, as you may need to stretch as you're opening your eyes. How the quality in which you experience this moment may have slightly shifted. What are the results? What are the fruits of this very short practice? Just there's still 20 minutes. Just really take this opportunity fully to allow this releasing. Now, maybe as listening, a few thoughts, a few ideas of reflections. How to stay balanced, how to stay aware. Just in this moment of feeling the ground, of just allowing simply to sit. And letting this statement from Zen Master Hakuin, dig within. not bringing too much thought around it. Just let it in sync. A very simple statement, but with such depth. Being on the road without leaving home. The statement has said that seems to present a kind of tension, opposition, contraction, and as we may have experienced in the course of this sit, for example, on one level this can be true. When we feel we cannot connect, when there is this, these moments of being overwhelmed by emotional states, by state of mind, by certain mood, or by certain obsessive thought. Yeah. We do not really feel at home in this moment usually. But there is also this beautiful opportunity to experience it, to live it in a non-dualistic way. Really come to see the difference in our lives when we do experience situations with contraction, resistance, and when not. And really learning, to pay much closer attention to what are the effects in both situations. And I know for some of us, this practice has been done for many years. For some of us, maybe less. But as practitioner, it may always be interesting to revisit what is meant by being on the road without leaving home. Maybe it could be stated in another way. Being at home on the road. And we may like, of course, questions in our practice. What is the road? And what, or maybe where is home? And really to come to know more deeply when life is experienced from home and when not. Yeah. And in some way, what is it that prevents us from experiencing, the road without feeling home? And as we will explore further during the week, the thinking process is really one of the major hindrances, I would say. Or really the one who comes to give us really hard times. When we're stuck in the loop of thinking without realizing that actually thinking is happening. How it leads to this real sense of disconnection, of not feeling complete, not experiencing this fullness of the moment. So really the road as the circumstances and all the situation of our lives. It's a very simple thing, very pragmatic. Relationships, work, financial situation, health, loss. Really the many situations we find ourselves in. And maybe here, maybe it represents everything that is described in the first noble truth by the Buddha, this reality of dukkha. And just as a reminder, of this first noble truth, birth is dukkha, aging is dukkha, sickness is dukkha, death is dukkha, or stressful or unsatisfactory. Encountering what is not dear is painful. Separation from what is dear is dukkha. Not getting one wants is also painful or stressful. And also the psycho-physical conditions are dukkha. You know what physical conditions can be referred to the 5 aggregates. So really, how to be at home in all of that, you know, with all this insatisfactoriness of life. The road also, you know, maybe has the field of thoughts, the field of emotions, the field of physicality. To be at home, to give space to that. The road as the texture of the arising and falling of experience. You know, no matter how conditions are, whether pleasant or unpleasant or favorable or unfavorable for us. Really learn to develop an ability to rediscover home in everything, in every situation. And this really leads us to inquire what home means for each one of us. What is home for you? What is home for me? We may all come up with a different answer. Yeah. One of the suggestions I would share with you from my understanding is that home is maybe the realization that there is no other than this. There is no other situation, no other place, no other possibility than this. And to put this pragmatically for me, you know, there is no other thing than feeling weak, still a bit sick, not having full energy, getting in touch with fragility this morning. This is what is. And this can become home for me this morning. Yeah. Home as the real realization that there is no other than this. And that actually also, you know, that the tendency is that in many ways, really realizing that there is nowhere to go. And often, when something is difficult to meet, we try to get somewhere else. But this is here that home is. And even, you know, more subtly, when comes the idea of where is home, where, it's already a kind of an afterthought, you know. There's nowhere. It's here. Being in that space that is, as you may all know or experience, you know, that is not reactive, where nobody is reacting, nobody is attached or is clinging, you know, to afflictive emotions, for example. A space where, to use more Buddhist term, dispassion is experienced. So, is that the way we practice? Is that what we cultivate over and over again? You know, giving space to everything that arises in the stream of life, of this heart and mind, you know, giving space, learning, cultivating, giving space instead of grasping, pushing away, controlling, trying to make something out of this moment because it does not fit with what we may like, what we may want. Isn't it precisely where peace and freedom lie? Yeah, gonna leave it here this morning. Thank you for listening. And if you may like to share something or have a question, please do so. We thank you, Alice, for sharing this beautiful moment with this little squirrel. Thank you, Jane. One of the beautiful aspects of this practice, it's odd. With years, what is really beautiful to acknowledge with years of practice is that practice does not prevent us from, experiencing the upside downs of life, but it feels, in moments when fragility is more present, when challenge are more present, we are not left alone without any resources. We have this tool of mindfulness that gives more confidence, when we're lost in the midst of darkness, for example. It's really supportive, really helpful. So I'm reading your comments, Sally. As the learning to be present as learning to stay with myself and to support myself. It is hard to access that feeling through the day, though. Yeah, it's not easy. It's a challenge. But sometimes it's just about it's just about recognizing. It's just about realizing that this feeling is not there. And as soon as there is the recognition that this feeling is not there, it's this full being that is coming back fully to this moment. It's just the realization of it. When there is this moment, we're realizing that we've been away, we're already here. I think one of the most difficult parts is just to remember. And also to be gentle and to be kind. In this I think we may all aim to bring more peace, more freedom in our life, but it's just also, to realize, especially at the beginning or when times have become tough, that wanting absolutely to be at home and to feel present is sometimes counterproductive, because there is this strong desire to want things to be otherwise than the way they are. And just noticing if this attitude is just not adding more tension to a situation that makes us maybe distracted already. Just really to notice that. And thank you for all your very kind comment. Yeah, Joan, I read your comment, and it's true. Sometimes, we're seeing things after once we have been distracted. But this doesn't matter. It's what is really, really matters is to, in a way, to muscle, to strengthen our capacity to be here. And every time we realize we've been distracted, we're here. We're present again. We get into balance again. Oh, George, you put one of my favorite quotes. Oh. The birds have vanished down the sky, now the last clouds drain away. We sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountains remain. Thank you, Alison. So we are soon coming to the end of this morning's session. First of all, deep gratitude for being here and supporting with your really very kind presence. I'm reminded of the link if you wish to donate in order for Sangha Life to keep on offering the Dharma so generously. I wish you all a beautiful day, and hopefully we meet tomorrow and surely I feel better. Thank you for your incredible support, and thank you for your presence and for your practice.